Okay, guys, we're gonna do a quick recap on today's trades. Today we traded two stocks. We have momentum is still pretty hot, although it's not as it wasn't as clean today, but we still had opportunities. So EDSA was the first stock that we traded. It will jump into the 5-minute chart. You can see here that it was trading at $3 yesterday, and it hit a high of 950, 980 today pre-market. So this offered potential opportunities pre-market, which I don't really take trades before the market opens because it's risky. But lately these have been presenting opportunities. So we'll jump into the 1-minute chart on EDSA and we'll break it down. I did take a trade on this pre-market. It did not go as I planned. So here you can see it was trading at $3, moved up, it hit a high of 980, and then it pulled back. So on this little dip is whenever I jumped in. It dipped. I jumped in around 880. It hit a high of 920. So I was up, a nice 40 cents, but I was kind of watching for a bigger move up to maybe 950, 970. Of course, it did not do that. I should have just taken the profit and bailed out, but I got a little greedy and was holding for the bigger move. So in this case, I got in around 880, and then it bounced up, and then it failed, and I ended up selling around 865. So from 880 down to 865, cut my loss. Of course, it bounced up a little bit, and then it just continued to fail pre-market. That was the only trade on that stock. Let's see, the next stock that we traded was, and here you can see that it did move up. It broke the VWAP, made a move higher, and it just sold off the rest of the day. The next stock that we traded was NETE. NETE was a gapper, and these are stocks that I don't just trade any stocks. These are stocks that have certain criteria that I'm watching. For example, it's priced. I would like them to be priced from $2 to $10. This one was around that price, but pre-market it made a move higher. So I mean that shows strength. So that right there is a plus for the stock. And then low float stocks, and it has to have certain amount of volume. There's a cutoff. It has less than like 100,000 shares of volume traded on that morning. I won't look at it because people just aren't interested at the moment. And even though if a setup does present itself, most likely people aren't going to be watching it, and there's not going to be any follow through. That's the reason for that. So on this one, we can see that this is a 5-minute chart. We can see that it was trading around $5. It made a move, broke this VWAP, orange solid line. It hit a high of 1364. Okay, so that's pretty impressive. We'll jump into the 1-minute chart and look at the trade that we actually took. Let's see, we took 2 trades on this one. Yeah, 2 trades. Okay, so we see here that it made a move higher from $5 up to 1364. So the place that I jumped in was on this dip. It hit a high on this candle 1223. It pulled back, and on this little flush here, a break of 1090, it broke 1090, and I jumped in on the move back up. Jumped in around 1085, I believe, and I sold up here around 1120. Or actually 1150. Well, I sold some throughout the move higher. I jumped in here at 1085, sold some at 1120, 1130, and then the rest at 1150. So that's a pretty nice move from 1080 up to 1150. It continued to move higher. It pulled back. It hit a high of 1364. It pulled back as soon as the market opened. The high was 1293. So that is a potential entry, 1293. And I ended up, it flushed out of the gates. It flushed pretty hard. Actually, it squeezed high. It broke 13. It hit a high of 1343, and then it flushed all the way down to 1177. And I jumped in at 1205, and then it bounced back up to 13. So from 1205 up to 13, that was a nice trade. My entry was down at the low of this candle, pretty close to the low of it. 12 sold at 13, a whole dollar per share. I mean, that's pretty nice. That's beautiful. And then it failed, and it bounced back up, and it failed. It halted going down. These look like little candles, but these were huge moves. And this candle alone, you have a range of 1133 to 1340. I mean, that's huge on the candle. So this was pretty tricky. You had to have the correct amount of share size. You could not take huge share size because you could be down $1 in a matter of seconds. This trade here that I took was a matter of seconds on this one. I mean, it flushed down to 12 and hit a high of 1350 in a matter of like 2 seconds. This I'll pull it up so you guys can see it. This might take just a little bit. It's a little bit longer recap. Oh, not that one. A little bit longer recap, but it's good material. Okay, so here, let's see. This was on NETE. Okay, that was the last trade that we took on it. Okay, we're getting close here. Okay, so it's this one. I know it might be a little bit hard to see, but there's 4 boxes here. It's the top right box, the one that we're gonna look at, where it says NETE. And this is what I look at every morning while I'm trading. This is called I use Lightspeed for my broker, and this is my trading station, my trading platform. So this is where I enter the stock that I want to trade, and this is the bid here on this side, and this is the ask. And you can see, like for example, this one has 12, it's priced at $12.60, and there's 100 shares selling on the bid. This one is on the ask at 12.73, and there's 1,700 share seller at the ask. And you just, you go down the line. That's how you're able to tell whether there's a big wall, like there's a ceiling, basically somebody with heavy size and they're unloading a lot of shares. If it doesn't break that level, that means that there's a hidden seller, and that's usually a sign that it found a wall and it's gonna fill that level. It's gonna fade, go lower. Well, anyways, here we'll kind of take a look. I jumped in whenever I saw that 13, there was a resistance up there, so I was watching for the dip. You're gonna see 13 up here, and then we're gonna see this number start coming down to around 12 1180, and then I'll jump in there whenever I start seeing that heavy selling. Jump in there, and then the buyers come in, start buying on the ask, and it brings that level back up to around $13, and I sell up at that level. So we'll kind of step it through. It's very fast. Here we'll play it real time just so you can see how fast it is, and then we'll step through it. Here we go. Okay, 13. There's a wall there. It's not breaking. 13 is not breaking. So then it flushes down to 1201. Boom, I jump in at 1205. Coming up, green buying, and I sell up here at 13. So that was probably 4 or 5 seconds from the time that I bought and sold. So we'll kind of step through it here quickly, just so you can kind of see what I'm looking at. Okay, so here's 13. I see that buying up there. It's not breaking. Okay, so boom, it dropped a whole dollar in a matter of half a second. So 1201, I'm like, okay, this is a big exaggerated drop. I'm gonna jump in here. Okay, there's more selling. Boom, I jump in at 1205. Jumped in at 1205. Okay, immediately I'm up 10 cents on the bid, and I'm up about 50 cents, 40 cents on the ask. Okay, I see right away I want to see a lot of buying, a lot of this green going through here. That shows that people are interested in this stock, are buying it, and for a move higher. If I see a lot of red, that means it's weak. A lot of selling. People aren't buying. Okay, so green, green. I see green. Okay, there we see more green. I'm not at the level yet where I can add to my position for a bigger trade. And plus, my account, I was out of buying power, but I'm not comfortable enough to where I can add for a bigger move. I'm working on that, but for now, this is where I'm at. 1280. Okay, I see 13. I remember that there was resistance up here at 13, so I take my profit, and that was it. That was that trade. Matter of 4 or 5 seconds, in and out. Um, so I mean that's how fast some of these trades are. But it's if you watch that box where it shows the bid and the ask, it's called level two. The more you watch it, the more you stare at it, the more time you put to study it, the better you'll get at it. Your eyes will be able to tell, okay, well, this is doing this and this is doing that. This is why I need to buy and this is why I need to sell. That helps you determine your support and your resistance. So if you see support down at a certain level and it starts breaking that support, you know it's time to sell because most likely you will get a strong flush down, a strong sell off. And then on the other hand, if you see a lot of green buying and then it breaks a certain point, then you know that the stock is strong. And potentially if your chart lines up with your level two, that could offer a opportunity to buy. Well, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. It's a little bit longer, but I think it's pretty good material. All right, guys, if you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you.